Hello everyone, how you doing? This is Len. Today I want to talk a little bit about what to do when you get a new listing. So you maybe met with a seller or talked to the seller and you want to kind of get things going ahead of time. One of the beautiful things is that we can get the paperwork started for you ahead of time. So this is a little bit of thinking ahead, right? So even if you're going to maybe be going on a listing appointment and you're pretty sure you're going to get it, these are some of the things that you're going to want to do. One of the things we've talked about with listings is a lot of times, for me personally, I don't show up to the listing appointment with paperwork. I always tell the people, look, if everything looks good to you, I can get the photographer out here, in a couple days. I can get the paperwork over to you here in a little bit. Kind of take it from that perspective. And the best way to close the seller is to go right into the calendar and start scheduling everything out and talking about what we need to do in order to get things going. So you're at that point, you are looking at it and going, okay, I need a photographer, I need to order the sign, I need to order flyers, I've got all these steps that I need to do. What are the things that I need to do? So let's go through it real quick. First thing you're going to do is you're going to want to, let me move this, log into Brivity. And so you're in Brivity, and the first thing you're going to want to do is go over to here where it says transactions. All you do is hit this little plus sign, and you've got the option for seller or buyer. So we're going to click on seller, and you're not going to do this because you don't have an active listing. You're going to choose the property type, put in the address, and then fill out as much of this as you absolutely can. Expiration date, depending on the price point of the property and our current state of the market, I'm typically doing about 90-day listings. So I just go 1, 2, 3, and I just pick the last day of the month, typically wherever I'm at. If it today's the 3rd, so if it was a little bit deeper in the month, maybe I would have hit the 4th. I'm going to put in price point. I always just write coming soon on this piece, so you can see that automatically populates. How many bedrooms does this property have? How many baths? What's the square footage? It's a good deal. 2234 for 85234. And then you want to pick the source too. So you've got a million different sources here. If you do not see a source that fits you, then reach out. Let me know. We can get it added. So I can add those sources. I always just type in, once again, coming soon on the listing description. Listing agent, that is you. Choose your drop down. So I'm going to put me. You want that visible, and you're the primary. These automatically fill in, so I know it says transaction coordinator. This is our transaction coordinators do not have access to our Brivity system, so this is mainly just behind the scenes transaction coordination. They're still doing paperwork, processing, all that other stuff, and then obviously I'm taking care of the marketing and all other stuff running through. All you have to do, hit create transaction, and now you're in there, right? So the next step that you want to do is you want to go in here and hit add viewer. Add viewer is your seller. So you type in their name. Hopefully you have an email address for them, and then you would just put their role is the seller, and I'll take care of everything else. That's all you need to do. Hit grant access, save. Now they're going to see everything that happens in here. If you have pictures, feel free to load them in here. Load them up into here. That's helpful. But otherwise, just hit save details. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go here and hit apply auto plan. Super simple. New listing action plan. It's the only one you need to worry about. So let that load. You'll see there's 10 steps that have now been loaded into your personal task list. So these will have your face. These are your tasks to do to get this property ready to go. Fill out HOA doc if it's applicable. Obviously, not everything is in an HOA, but if it is, that is your responsibility to work with the seller, whether it's to call the HOA, whatever it ends up being, to make sure that that is properly filled out. So that's on you. When you're done, click it. Print out the seller's disclosure for seller to manually fill out. So this is where it's good, once again, you can see, to have this kind of prepared ahead of time before your meeting, because what I always do is I bring the spuds and I hand it to the seller. I say, look, this is your only homework assignment, is I need this filled out. We have until 3 days after we get an accepted contract to get this over to the buyer, but it's probably better to get this, completed up front, and let's just get that taken care of ahead of time. So now you've left them something. Once you've done that, all it says is print it out. So I printed it out, I'm ready to go, check off. Request coming soon page. So this is typically going to be something that you're not going to do until you have the listing signed. So I may just sit on this, or I'll say, you know what, I'm going on the listing tomorrow, so I'm just going to move the date on this to Monday, or, whatever, Saturday, save. Now I've just moved that to as a future cost, thing. Am I going to order flyers? Well, I don't have a listing yet. Do I want to order request paperwork? Yeah, I do. So I click on that. You say what I did. I just clicked on the request paperwork. Here's a link in here, and it's going to bring you to a form. All you got to do is fill out the form. It asks a bunch of questions. You'll see here one of the things that says transaction desk file created and shared with Len. If you want to click yes. So what you're doing now is you're going to go to transaction desk, and you're going to go into here, and let's just put it in here. So you just take, for instance, whatever, just, here's a listing. It's Jason's, but you would go up to here inside, really what you would do is you'd hit add, and then you would create new listing, 123 Main Street, and then you'd go through and you'd say, just hit listing template, or if you don't have these templates, just hit none. Really, that's all you need to do is just put in list Main Street. Only thing I ask is you put in the whole deal, because that makes it easier to organize when you have the entire address. You'll notice all these have, for the most part, the full address. This with the name of the client, wrong way. This without the full city and state, wrong way. These ones, Moccasin, Surprise, Arizona, correct way. And then add me as listing agent, perfect. Then you just hit create. Now it's going to go into here, of course. You've got a couple options. You could add their contacts. Really, you don't need to do anything. Just go in here and hit share. And you should have my name in here, and then you would just move it over. So you would just click Len, send it over, hit save. You can notify me if you want. You don't need to. It's not necessary. If you don't know how to share, I'll do a separate video on how to do that. But it's pretty simple to do, to set up a sharing route. So you've done that. You've added the transaction. You're done. This is it. Don't load paperwork. Don't worry about anything. TCs will take care of everything from there. So you just go yes, put in the address, seller's name, their phone number and email, phone number and email address. That's, once again, that's for the TCs. So they need that. What's the sales price? Was the home built, before 77? Do we need a lead-based paint disclosure? Is there septic? What's the term? Are you doing a 90-day, 6-month, whatever? What's the total commission? So total commission, not your commission. So if you're like, all right, I'm doing 5 and I'm giving 2.5, that's how you would fill that out. Do you know the personal property staying with a home? Washer, dryer, refrigerator. If you don't know that, just hit other and just say unknown, unknown at this time. Which clauses? So this clause here, MLS withheld until pictures are received. Basically, there's a clause that, according to MLS rules, the second you get a listing signed, you're supposed to put it in the MLS. We put a clause in the listing agreement that says that you're allowed to hold it out of the MLS until the marketing is fully ready. So that's where you get to do coming soon, all the other stuff. So I always add that. If you have a seller who's real stickler and saying, look, I need to be able to cancel this at any time, great. I have a cancel anytime policy. Put that in there. If you've got a reduced commission where you're saying, look, we'll list it at 5, but if I end up bringing the buyer, we'll do it for 4, click that one. This one's key too. Send immediately for signature. So if you've already met with the seller and they're like, yeah, let's do it, then you're going to click yes. If you're like, no, I'm going to be meeting with them later, hit no. If there's any other pertinent details that you think need to be known, that's good. Put those in here. The coming soon date. So today's the 3rd. If I'm like, look, I don't want this thing listed until, I want to put it in as coming soon on the 8th, then I would put that in there. And then it asks once again, have you requested HOA information yet? That's more for the TC to know, so you can say yes, no. And if you do have any pictures, you can load them in here right now. If you want to order pictures right away, you can click on this link, and it'll also, it'll open up the order form for pictures. And here, so other details, hit NA. If you're done, you hit submit, and then that will create, a line item inside of the form. But you do need to go back into here once you've done that and hit complete task. If you don't hit complete task, it doesn't send off notice to the TC to get going on this. So this could also be one of those things where you're like, you've done this part, but you're not ready to have the TCs jump on it yet. So you would just close that and leave that there. But in the back of your head, I've already requested the paperwork. You can do the same thing with photography. Click on this. It's got, a bunch of questions that are pertinent to, the questions that were asked behind the scenes with the photographers. So we fill this out as we need. Square footage, property address, what signs need to be there, all that stuff. Same thing. Hit submit. Go back here. Complete the task. This does not send the order out to actually order the pictures until you hit complete task. So that's the key with these, right? So any of these items here, even this request coming soon page, nothing happens until you complete the tasks. So like it says here, request coming soon, delete task if not needed. You're sitting there going, well, why would I not want a coming soon page? Well, the only reason why I wouldn't want a coming soon page personally is if I'm filling out the paperwork and I'm getting the photographer there tomorrow and I'm going to be going live in 2 days. Maybe I'm like, look, I'm just going to be running through this because I'm not going to even have any pictures to use to get this thing going because it's going to be rapid. 99% of the time, those 2 days between today, getting the listing signed, getting the pictures ordered, and actually getting the pictures back, that's 2 days of marketing that you could be missing out on. So I would always say, click this thing, because what happens is, you click this request coming soon page, and what happens is, and I'm going to see how long this takes, but what it should do, yeah, there it is. Coming soon page requested. So it immediately emails me and says, Len Nevin is requesting the creation of a coming soon page for a new listing at 123 Main Street, Gilbert, Arizona. So now I know to go into Brivity and it becomes a task inside my email. So I've said this 100 times. If you need something, don't send me a text message. Don't send me a direct message. Send me an email, because my email becomes like my task list. If you send me a text message, it's going to go and it's going to get buried almost instantaneously. So this is a way to get that stuff taken care of. And then you'll see, this launch listing sign campaign, even though it's got my face on there, this will be my task. So once I have the pictures, once everything's ready to go, then I take the next steps that need to happen. So your tasks are these ones, this one's mine. So that's how you launch a new listing. Hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me.